A beautiful morning it is in the city of Lagos where we are broadcasting from, and this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. Good morning, I am Moses Humphrey.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu. Bidi. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of the VOP This Morning, the breakfast show on Voice of the People Television. We have wonderful lines up, we have scintillating lines up for you this morning, and believe me, it promises to be interesting.
Well, we also have with us Chukwuma Okoro. Chukwuma, good morning to you.
Good morning, Moses. Good morning, Fina. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope you had a restful night.
Very well.
And how is Lagos? How are you acclimatizing to Lagos? Because I thought you've been out of Lagos for some time. So coming back into Lagos.
Yes, it's not completely out because I've been doing some kind of back and forth.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I'm used to the madness.
Oh.
That's exactly what it is in Lagos. And you know what they say, if you can survive in Lagos, you can survive anywhere in the world.
Any part of the world.
Oh, well, surviving in Lagos is one thing. Another, a group of people are saying, look, you have survived enough in Lagos. Time to go survive elsewhere. Leave Lagos. And Lagos is not no man's land. It belongs to certain people. It is a village to some people. Oh, well, we'll look at that conversation in the course of the program. And a few quotes, a few individuals who have said a few things in that regard will also extray their words. And one of them is Oba Rilwan Akiolu of Lagos. We'll x-ray that. Words spoken in 2015. All right? You know what they say about words? They come back to haunt you. Oh, well, we'll touch on that one in the course of the program. You know.
And also on our radar this morning, after the explosive statement over the weekend, Obasanjo shuns Tinubu's Council of State meeting in Asorok, while Jonathan and Buhari attended the council meeting. We'll also look at this when it's the time to look at it. Let me put it that way. Which will actually happen now, this morning. But I'll be after the
we'll also be touching on the papers very, very shortly. Well, today the president jets off to Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, as on the invitation of the president of the country. Some will say, why are you leaving now? There's still a lot to be done. Today is Wednesday. It should be the Federal Executive Council should be holding today.
Yeah.
Shouldn't the president be there? I mean, you've had the meeting yesterday, but there are other pressing issues that should be discussed. But hey, the president will be out for 3 days, and the vice will obviously step in his stead.
And still looking at the state of the nation.
Yes, I actually wanted to tell you that there is a level of delegation that the president can do. He has a vice.
Yes.
So, and most times you see the vice superintending over the Federal Executive Council and council meeting. And probably they have had a discussion, and the president says, you take charge here while I go do business for Nigeria, the other side.
Talking about the business for Nigeria and the traveling that the president has been doing since he came into office, the president has been to quite a number of places. How can we assess the impact of those visits? How much revenue? How much FDI? Well, I reckon
that I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of FDI.
You know, and like we are always told that look, the impact are not clearly immediate. You know, that it takes a very long time for them to begin to manifest.
Are there really impacts with some people coming up to refute some claims from, you know, the FDI or the revenue they've actually generated from some of the travels?
Exactly what I'm saying. You know, but we don't see these things happen in our presence, in the immediate. And that is the same story we've been told for the past 8-9 years, 15, 20 years ago. You know, presidents go out of the country to say we are going to bring in foreign investors. And when we ask where are they, we are told that, look, discussions are ongoing. You know, and that after a while you see these things manifest. Unfortunately, why they are going to bring in foreign investors? We have the local ones, the ones that are already
being strangulated.
Living, not just strangulated, living. This level of disconnect is prevalent now. So the moment we wage that drift, the better for the economy.
All right, that's an advice going there. All right, then. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be delving into the papers that touch on headlines from different dailies. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. Showing from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Now with us is still VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. We'll have to move straight down to the front pages of the national dailies as it is happening now. And before we also have the Vanguard newspaper, we also have the Guardian newspaper, we have the Daily Independent, the Daily Trust newspaper, and the Punch. And I would like to begin this morning from the Daily Independent newspaper. They have the banner headlines to be, #End Bad Governance, Go On, Absalami, Jonathan, Buhari decry protest, regime change. And the writers there are, pass vote of confidence in Tinubu at Council of State meeting. NSA reassures that nobody will truncate hard-earned democracy. Wait till 2027 election, FG tells President Tinubu's opponents. And above the nameplate, we have another headline to be, Tinubu signs bill, increase officers by 300%. Tariff suspension on food imports to cost Nigeria 188 billion naira, and that is according to custom. And we have a major pictorial there where we have the president, and on the left-hand side we have the former president, Jonathan, and we have also Buhari there on that pictorial. And beside that, we have other headlines to be, Afenifere decries call for military coup, seeks support for democracy. You can get it on page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper. Kyari urges military to sustain onslaught against crude oil theft. Says NNPC Limited witnesses improve growth in crude production. Says NNPC Limited witnessing improved growth in crude production. And by the other side of that picture, I have a headline to be, court extends order restricting Abuja protesters to MKO Stadium. FAN to take delivery of equipment to combat bird strikes at airports. That's on page 7 of the Daily Independent. We have not fixed petrol price. Dangote. We have not fixed petrol price. Dangote. And we have another bold headline on the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Again, stakeholders urge upward review of tariff for telcos' survival. Again, stakeholders urge upward review of tariff for telcos' survival. Sector to intensive care unit stage, says MTN CEO. Over 1,000 fiber cuts recorded monthly. Airtel CEO. Quality of service tied to government policies. And that is coming from Alton. And have the bottom strip headline to be Africa CDC declares Mpox public health emergency. Africa CDC declares Mpox public health emergency.
That's monkeypox.
Yeah, monkeypox. But we don't call it monkeypox again. We have to do the Gen Z way of calling it Mpox. And that is what, happened to be the last headline on.
All right, then. Well, those are the pictorial there. Quite an interesting one. Well, I think it's one of the things we're discussing this morning. But seeing the presidents, Jonathan, Buhari, with Tinubu right there, and then one wonders why exactly did Obasanjo not attend that one? And no reason was given. Others that could not attend joined virtually. But Obasanjo, there seemed to be issues going on between, they seem to have some sort of disagreement. I think that stems from way back then.
There are no disagreements. Obasanjo went to farm. He's a farmer. So he says he needs to produce enough food for Nigerians to eat. That is more important
than attending
the council meeting.
Yes, because actually the main issue why the council meeting was convened is because Nigerians are hungry. So he wants to help us.
I think that's just an excuse, because
no, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. That is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that I don't misinform Nigerians.
Of course.
On the lighter mood.
Of course. Well, interestingly, let's go on to some other headlines now, some other dailies actually. The Guardian, we also have the Vanguard here. Let me start off with the Vanguard, and that pictorial that we talked about is on the Daily Independent, right?
Yeah, it's on Daily.
It's also the same pictorial right here on the Vanguard newspaper. But let's take the headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. The banner headline reads, Ballooning operating costs. NCC stakeholders kick as telcos threaten service outage. Telcos threaten to adopt load shedding formula in telecom service. NCC kicks, says subtle threat, wrong approach to tariff hike campaign. NCC kicks, says subtle threat, wrong approach to tariff hike campaign. Subscribers will hold regulator accountable if load shedding happens. NatComs. All right. And then looking on top of the nameplate now, Dangote Refinery. Why we reduced our stake to 7.2%, NNPCL. Onayekon to FG. Neglect of youths, ticking time bomb. Anglican bishops flare FG's insensitive handling of hashtag End Bad Governance protest. Nigeria will use climate change crisis to reshape economy. Tinubu. Interesting one indeed. And then further down, we have a hunger protest, attempted regime change, Council of State. All right. Well, they seem to know something that Nigerians don't know, because they're all singing the same song. That protest that most Nigerians came out for, citing hunger, had a different agenda behind it, and they all seem to be saying the same thing, that it was intended to be a regime change. 37 die in Oyo Ogun auto crash. Protest, time to tell ourselves truth, Sule tells northern governors. All right, now these are the headlines there from the Vanguard newspaper. Moving away from politics now, talking about the auto crash there. I saw videos of it. I saw a crane was picking that 18-seater bus that was crushed, and it was a horrible sight. It was a horrible sight, a horrible one to behold, with the passengers all cramped up inside that one. Quite terrible. I don't know if I should blame this on the roads, or blame this on bad driving, or blame this on technical issues like brakes and those other things. But I think we can do better when we get on the roads, especially drivers, commercial drivers. Yesterday we saw the news about Lagos State, is a Lagos State government, a Lagos State government agency seizing alcohol beverages from parks worth over $1 million naira. And they've said these things should not be at the parks and garages because they impair reasoning. And when drivers take these things before getting behind the wheels, they of course think they are pilots and they can fly. And that even annoys me when passengers start calling drivers pilots. So you have the impression, oh, you're not flying. You're on roads, not in the air. You're on roads. So you should
Moses,
be
I think it's a mixture of all the factors that you reeled out. The drivers, the road network, where they are bad in certain instances, and the Federal Road Safety Commission. So most of the times, the officers compromise. The traffic wardens compromise. Because, I don't see why a traffic warden will allow a driver to be taken baraga.
You wouldn't know. The traffic warden may not know.
No, they do. They do when they go to collect. I'm not blaming them. Probably it's not their core function, but I'm trying to say that all of these factors are involved.
Oh. Also, even the roads that we're using now, we found out that we don't even have what's it called, proper or stiffer penalties for those that break the speed limits and all that. There's no cameras on the road to capture the vehicles or the drivers when they go against the rule of the traffic. But
all right then. Well, let's get into another paper now.
Next is the Daily Trust, and we have very interesting stories. The major headline reads, Nigeria wasting rice, yam, fish amid food crisis report.
Wasting.
Wasting. The operational word there is wasting. And it got me thinking. Probably if you go to page 4 of the Daily Trust, you find out why Nigerians are wasting yam, rice, and fish amid the food crisis. Again, there's a pictorial there. It's the pictorial of the photo ops of the Federal National Council of States meeting that held yesterday. You see the president, the vice president, and the NSA is here, and all of that is on the front page. Below the major headline, you have 28 killed in Oyo, Ogu road crashes. That's on page 5 of the Daily Trust. Each senator earns 1.063 million monthly. Ramfak.
Yes.
Tinubu approves 300% pay rise for judicial officers. Under the photo ops, you have wait till 2027 if you are not satisfied with government. Council of State. Very interesting.
Very interesting headlines indeed. So we'll talk more about this during the newspaper review much later in the day. We'll talk a whole lot more about this, and that's from 9 o'clock all the way till 10. We'll talk more about these headlines that you see here.
Yes, under the nameplate, there are still other news items there.
Yeah.
Okay. In Daily Trust. Under the nameplate, you have local government polls. Opposition kicks as state electoral bodies impose new fees. 70% windfall tax burdensome, ill-time, bank directors. NNPCL, FIRS, orders frustrating National Assembly, Tinubu's government, according to Senate panel.
It's like finally we have the amounts and our senators and being made public.
According to Ramfak.
According to Ramfak. We have to get an authentication from the Senate. That's if they agree that is how much they earn. Because we always have figures pushed out and the Senate comes back to say, no, this is not our salary is not up to this.
Is that also, I wonder if that also includes the other allowances that they get, the sitting allowance, the travel allowance and all that. Anyway, we'll move to another newspaper this morning, which is the Punch newspaper. And we have the banner headline there to be FG blocks 83 billion naira protest funds, arrests political collaborators. The writers there, government uncovers $50 million crypto funds, blocks 4 digital wallets containing $38 million. Police to declare foreign agents wanted, trees 4 billion naira to Kanu, Abuja, Katsina, political bigwigs. And right beside the nameplate, we have another headline to be FG unveils plan to bring back 12,400 Jabba doctors. FG unveils plans to bring back 12,400 Jabba doctors. And that is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. 109 senators earn 1.4 billion naira annually. 109 senators earn 1.4 billion naira annually. And we have the window headlines to be EFCC donates 50 billion naira crimes proceeds to NEL Fund. EFCC donates 50 billion naira crime proceeds to NEL Fund. That's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. NPCL postpones Port Harcourt refinery kickoff 6th time. NNPCL postpones Port Harcourt refinery kickoff 6th time. 4.2 trillion naira foreign MOUs signed under Tinubu, and that is according to report. And we have a major pictorial there that have the vice president, we have the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Tinubu the president, and Buhari, okay, and have also the president of the Senate. And beneath that, TUC backs 5 million naira monthly pay for judges. 16 confirmed dead in Oyo multiple crashes. NJC to select Ariwura's successor on Friday. And these are the headlines you have on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, then let's quickly touch on the Guardian newspaper before we wrap the segment up. From the Guardian newspaper, the banner headline, 2 years after, states under-enroll as 90% Nigerians still pay out of pocket. The top rider there is National Health Insurance Act. That's what that one is talking about. And then there's a breakdown of that. Cost of healthcare up by over 200% in the last 1 year, with most Nigerians unable to pay out of pocket. And then beside that one, reps upbraid WAEC for failing to account for 5 billion naira calculators. Benue farmers panic over persistent drought. And 16 die, 17 injured in Ibadan multiple road crash. Chairman affirms 26 embattled Rivers lawmakers as APC members. All right. So we'll still keep our eyes on that one. It's interesting what is playing out in Rivers State.
Yeah.
Okojumbo has his own assembly, and Martin Zamewule has his own assembly. One wonders, in one state.
Under one governor.
Under one governor. Nigeria, I hail thee. Indeed. All right, customs, Nigerians. That reminds me of the national anthem.
Yeah.
Nigeria, we hail thee. Okay. Well, customs, Nigeria's food imports surge 95.28% to 920.54 billion naira in Q1 2024. Manufacturing, FMCG firms post 25% YTD losses as demand plummets. EFCC stakes 50 billion naira in NEL Fund, warns against abuse of fund. OBJ, IBB absent as Buhari, Jonathan, ex-leaders pass vote of confidence in Tinubu. All right, so these are the headlines from the papers that we have on our table this morning. We read out headlines from The Guardian, The Daily Independent, The Daily Trust, The Punch newspaper, and also the Vanguard newspaper. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at our major conversation for today. Oba Akiolu of Lagos must apologize to Igbos and Nigerians for bigotry statement. Pro-democracy coalition insists. Now, do know that you can be part of the conversation by subscribing to our YouTube page. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People TV. And on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. There's also a number that will appear on your screen in the course of the program. You can save that one up. With it, you can communicate with us every time we come on the air. All right, stay with us. We'll be back in a bit.
Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Tuesday from 2:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Catch up with the latest topics making the buzz, the stories that tick, the trends. Let's let you in on why they are trending, from politics, entertainment, business, lifestyle, and more. Analyzing the trending stories with top eyeballs. Hashtag on Voice of the People Television, giving you an insight to everything and everyone Nigeria is talking about. Showing on VOP TV, 10 p.m. Monday to Friday. Hashtag, if it's trending, we bring it on.
Welcome back. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. I have to move straight down into the conversation proper. And the Oba of Lagos, Riwan Akiolu, has been accused of tribal bigotry and hate speech, alleging that he threatened to kill Igbos living in Lagos and throw them into the lagoon if they didn't vote for a certain gubernatorial candidate in 2015 and 2019. Drawing from the utterances of Oba Akiolu, MC Oluomo severally threatened that the Igbos will not be allowed to vote in the 2023 elections still in Lagos. On the other hand, Bayo Ononuga, a high-ranking official in the All Progressives Congress, was alleged to have made hateful and divisive statements on Twitter, now X, warning against Igbo interference in Lagos politics and declaring Lagos Yoruba land. He refused to apologize for his views, prioritizing his Yoruba identity over being a Nigerian. Despite this, President Bola Tinubu promoted him to a senior position. Similarly, Gbadebo Rhodes Vivo, the Labour Party's governorship candidate in Lagos was insulted and dragged into ethnic sentiments due to his Igbo heritage. Furthermore, Olamide Ifoluwa-Bojaji, a notorious social media user, started an anti-Igbo hashtag Igbo must go. He even gave dates where the Igbos will live, saying it to be on the 20th of August. Ethnic bigotry. Hence, a call for the Oba Akiolu of Lagos to openly apologize to Igbos and all Nigerians for his past statements and to advocate for peace and unity to promote national harmony and progress. We have videos backing all the statements that we have made to your hearing this morning. So we will play them while you watch and listen to all the statements.
If any one of you, I swear in the name of God Almighty Allah, goes against my will that Ambode, inshallah, will be the next governor of Lagos State. The person is going to die inside this world. I'm not ready to beg, appeal to anybody. And that's why I shall do and the governor says, that is your own. Even the two of them, they cannot disobey me. But nobody knew how I pick somebody. Jimmy is my blood relation. And I told him in a plain language, he can never be governor in Lagos for now. Kingdom belongs to God. I'm not begging anybody to go, but you must not. I repeat, what you people cannot do in Onitsha, what you cannot do in Aba or anywhere. If you do what I want, Lagos will continue to be prosperous for you. If you go against this, you will perish in the water. Finish.
Please, if you don't want vote for us, please sit down for sit down for thank you very much. I got the
As you repeat them again, any Igbo where they born very well, where they born here, me are they here, where they born here, make it comfortable. Me are they here.
All right, those are the videos those are the videos that backed up the statement that we've actually read out for you this morning. And we have with us in the studio to help x-ray and also make sense of this topic, Mr. Oboluwa Taiwo, who is the director of African Bridge Initiative. Good morning, Mr. Oboluwa. Good to have you in today's show.
Morning. Morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're looking at hate speech and bigotry also playing out now from the videos I've watched. First was from the Oba Akiolu. That was in 2015, saying that if the Igbo people from the Igbo ethnic group did not vote for a particular candidate, they will be thrown into the lagoon. And, you know, also watch that of MC Olom also threatening the Igbos over who they are going to vote. And also say a policeman, you know, standing beside him, trying to calm him down over the way he was boiling when he was making the statement. Mr. Oboluwa, what do you really make of these statements?
Well, Nigeria has been a wonderful country, and such a statement might come in. Though those statements have been a very past statement that has been able to divide the country instead of uniting the country. But beyond that, we must also understand that an average man is a political animal. So what does that mean? Whether you are a king, whether you are a traditional ruler or you are a religious ruler, a man by default setting is a what? A political animal. So what does that mean? Those conversations from the MC Lomo and the traditional ruler of Lagos State, those kind of statements only comes when the animalistic of a man comes up. So that means that the king or whoever is within the arena of politics must understand that you should not be too comfortable making a speech that you know you can't defend.
we are saying that Igbos must go from Lagos. The question is, who founded Lagos? How did Lagos came to be? And who are the owners of Lagos? Now, when we talk about the owners of Lagos, the first thing you look at, the traditional settlers in Lagos.
That's their worries.
Yeah, their worries. All right? We have 5 divisions in Lagos talking about the Ibile. Now, those divisions, how did they came to be? We talk about Ikorodu, we talk about Badagry, we talk about Island, Lagos Island, Ekpe, and the rest. Now, the question is, where is the position of the elite that came early from the what? The Western world. So that means they're also part of the Lagosians. And that's why you can see the Brazilian. So the Brazilian, they're also part of Lagosians. So if Brazilians, in fact, I'm sure most of us realize that they have a can we call it an heritage home in Lagos, the Brazilians. So they call themselves Lagosians, and up to now they're still part of the true indigenous of Lagos. So if a Brazilian is claiming to be a Lagosian, so an Igbo man also can claim to be a Lagosian. So what does that mean? The land belongs to all of us.
All right.
Where does this leave Nigeria now as a unified federal nation?
All right, that's where I'm going. You can see all of my background information is tending towards what? Unity. Because even Ogun State, that is meant to be for Yorubas, we have different people in Ogun State. We have the Ijebus, we have different indigenous, even within Ogun State.
You know, you just said something. Lagos belongs to everybody, right? Why does Ogun State belong to the Yorubas, or those from Ogun State, and Lagos belongs to everybody?
Yeah, you know,
Is Lagos not a state, and doesn't it have people that should lay claim to it being their own state?
Now, one thing you must understand that there are foundations to all of this conversation. So the foundation arena is also very important, because when you are looking at this particular conversation, you look at the fact that for Oyo State, we talk about the people who founded Oyo. For the Ife, we talk about how the Oduduwa and the rest. All right. So you can even see the link between Ife and Benin. All right. That is the descendant of what? The Oduduwa. So some went different paths. Some went to Benin. Some went to different areas. So all of us, including Lagos, we are what? Descendant of one tree, the Oduduwa. So what does that mean? Every state has its own peculiarity. That's one thing we must understand. Every state, including the Yoruba state, every state has, you'll be shocked to understand that Kwara is a Yoruba state. But the peculiarity of Kwara, as of today, is that it's part of the Northeast. Is that not a surprise? So the foundation of every state is very crucial and very critical. So what does that mean? The way I can claim ownership of Oyo State, it's not the same way you can claim ownership of Lagos State. Even though you cannot drive away the tradition. But in terms of civilization, there are foundational analysis and foundational dates and figure to every state. So beyond that, Lagos State belongs to all of us.
Mr. Oluwa.
Thank you, Mr. Oluwa. You have made very interesting remarks, and you've taken us down history, but let's go back to the main conversation. And the main conversation is that a traditional ruler, very respected one, the Oba of Lagos, in 2015 said that a certain group of people, ethnic group, Igbos in particular, should be thrown to the lagoon if they don't vote a particular candidate. Now, in your opening statement, you said these things are bound to happen, right? You said that. Again, you also said that man is a political animal. That man being a political animal, these things are bound to happen too. Now, my question is this, and what you have said all through is you tend to support the idea that certain people have peculiar ownership of a particular land and that they should be given some level of privileges that others should not have because they are the founders of that particular community. Now, like Fina wanted to ask, what does that build a nation? How does it unify us as a people? If we have a situation where certain people are given certain privileges that certain other people are denied.
Now, when we talk about politics, we talk about the authoritative allocation of value. When we talk about America or other countries, even America, having to talk about the comparative analysis, we look at America, we look at even their indigens. You know, no matter the passport the American gives you, anywhere you are as an American or as an African American, how come we're having that conversation, African American? That means that they understand that you are not an indigene, but you have been certified to be a member because of paper. You're not the same.
Margin in here.
So you're not the same. When you talk about, so how come we're having that conversation of African American? So that is telling you that you know your blood is not the same with our own.
Peculiar because the
so it's not the same.
The original Americans are the Red Indians.
Yes.
So how come original Americans?
So how
nobody even talks about the Red Indians anymore. When you talk about America,
nobody talks about it on pages of newspaper.
Nobody even talks about it.
How peculiar is this?
It is still peculiar.
You know, this is a very interesting conversation.
Are you aware that the game of the November election is changing? Are you aware that the game is changing? Because a particular presidential candidate is trying to drive away Africans from America.
Not just
and a particular, hold on, and a particular presidential candidate is trying to accommodate all the ethnic groups from different parts of the world.
So the rhetoric here is, will be thrown into the lagoon if they don't vote for a particular candidate.
That's a political statement. So
are you in support of that statement?
It's a political statement.
No, are you in support of that political statement?
That political statement shouldn't be accepted. It's a political statement. It's a mere political statement.
No, it's not mere. It's not mere political statement because we saw an MC Oluomo supporting the same statement.
In 2023
In 2023.
Now,
that same group of people were and others were prevented from participating in the franchise in a country where everybody has equal citizenship.
Now, one thing you must understand that there are levels of knowledge. You know, I've said it earlier on that an average man is a what? Is a political animal. And when the capacity of a man does not meet up to the 21st century leadership space, your disposition cannot be equal to others.
Why are we having this disposition?
So as at that level, you must still respect the political statement of such a man, so that in order not to escalate that particular conversation.
So, Mr. Okweoluwa, you are in support that if Igbos don't vote for a particular candidate, they should be thrown into a lagoon?
For America, whether you are Indian or whether you are Blue Indian or Red Indian.
We are talking about Lagos here.
For Lagos,
yes,
all of us, we are all Lagosians. And we must be part of the political process
of voting for a particular candidate.
Of voting for whoever we need.
But that's not what the other said.
Whoever is saying that you must vote for a particular candidate, such a person does not understand the meaning of 21st century leadership.
So the Oba should apologize.
The Oba should apologize to all of us.
All right.
Now, my question will now be, why is it that we have so many people in Lagos, just the way you said, we even have the Brazilians, and why are we not having a targeted statement just to the Igbo ethnic group? Because all the statements we're hearing, we've not heard Hausa must go. We're now hearing hashtag Igbo must go, and they even have a date attached to this. What does this really pretend to Nigeria?
Now, when we talk about hashtag Igbo must go, who is spreading all this rumor and all this conversation? There are two people as of today. As of 2023, as of 2003 and the 2023 election, we talk about a traditional ruler. And as of today now, we're talking about Olumide, who is a social media warrior on X Space. You must understand that what is his own political value? The political value of Olumide. Olumide is trying to drive a traffic. So he's a businessman. So he's talking from the aspect of business.
Sorry,
so for me, I will not take him serious.
Pardon me.
Even though,
may I barge in here? Now, looking at taking him seriously, all right? The Oba of Lagos, who occupies a symbolic position, made a statement in 2015. Now, Nigerians disregarded that statement and went on to cast their votes. Ambode got into office. when the elections were ripe again in 2019, Ambode had issues. The Oba did not even speak to Ambode's issue at the time. So one would wonder, was it the love? Did the love dwindle between the Oba and Ambode, or was he speaking in support of an individual?
As of today, you must have said it earlier.
I'm not done. I'm not done. Now, one would ask, did the love dwindle after that? Because we now saw support for Sosawolu come up after that. Now, the Oba made a statement. Lagospedia, you mentioned the name of the young man. He has made another statement. Let's tie this to the events that happened in Rwanda in the 90s between the Tutsis and the Hutu. It started from a medium, all right? It started from radio, all right? And statements were disregarded by some individuals. Like, oh, come on. We're all together. We have intermarried. We are brothers. But then, when it escalated, we saw what happened to Rwanda. All right? So should we disregard this? Now, let's not forget. Let's not shy away from the fact that Senator Oluremi Tinubu also made a similar statement where she said that Igbos don't appreciate what we've done for them. I can't quote her verbatim, but she did say that towards the 2023 election. Now, Bayo Ononuga, who also is a right-hand man, an ally to the president, has also come out to say, look, this is the last time Igbos will influence elections in Lagos. Lagos is not no man's land. Lagos belongs to the Yorubas. What does the Constitution say, really? Because when you reside, I think the Constitution of Nigeria says if you reside in a place for about 10 to 15 to 20 years, you are automatically an indigent. I was born in Lagos, for goodness sake, and I have, by God's grace, 4 decades and above in Lagos. Shouldn't I claim Lagosian? Even if I'm not originally, or my parents are not from the state, can't I claim to be a Lagosian? What was wrong with Gbadebo Rhodes Vival? We saw the attack on his person because his mother was not a Yoruba person. How do you marry all of this with the ideology that Lagos is, it's a I mean, the statements made by these individuals were political statements.
Yeah, one thing we must understand as of today is that, for instance, look at the last statement towards the last election from Senator Oluremi Tinubu. Even she herself, are you aware that she's not a Lagosian? So, that's why I said that some of these statements is the
president a Lagosian?
Some of these statements are statements from individuals.
Is President Bola Tinubu a Lagosian?
Well, for me, I'm not a member of his family. So I'm not sure that should be part of the conversation. Because I'm not a member of his family.
So you know that the vice president, the wife is not Nigerian. Is that what a Lagosian?
Who?
You know the wife
just
is
said
not
that the wife is not a Lagosian.
Yes, I've just said so.
Okay. So now you, when it comes to the wife, you are a member of the family. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, let's leave that. Let's leave that for now.
All right.
Let's go back to the conversation.
Let's go.
All right. Now, the question is that individuals must understand that your position matters when it comes to public disposition and when it comes to public space. Now, we are having all of this conversation because the internet, the media, the social media in Nigeria has not been regulated. So this drives us to angle of regulation. An individual must also understand that whether as a politician or not as a politician, the social media space is not a wide open space. It must be regulated even by individual. You must regulate yourself. So what does that mean? Whether you are a Lagosian or you are not a Lagosian, whether you are an Igbo man or you are not an Igbo man, as long as you have your NIN, you are a Nigerian. That is one paramount figure that must be behind every man.
which one comes
That's
first?
number two. The first one is that there must be a Nigerian first.
Oh, okay.
You must be a Nigerian first.
Must be a Nigerian first before.
Before you know whether you're a Yoruba man or Igbo man, you must be a Nigerian first.
Okay.
So, what does that mean? If I see you today, I meet you today, and I'm asking you, where's your NIN? Or who are you? And you say you are a Yoruba man. The next thing I'll ask you is, do you have an NIN? And you say no. I'll tell you that you're not a Nigerian. So, my question is not whether you are a Yoruba man or Igbo man. My question is, are you a Nigerian? If you are a Nigerian, you have an NIN. The next thing you must have what is your PVC. So once you have your PVC, you are permitted to vote and be voted for in any part of the country. So what does that mean? We have the former commissioner of finance in Lagos as what? As an Igbo man. We have the former SA on drainage, to Lagos State Governor, Igbokwe, who is a stunt and a critical Igbo man to the core. All right? And Igbokwe has been part of the development of politics in Lagos. In fact, in my life, I've only met him once. So I don't even know up to now. I can't even remember whether he's an Igbo man or Yoruba man. I remember that what? He's a good citizen of Nigeria. Another thing you must also understand is that development in 21st century, all our political leaders must understand that if you are talking about development, once you are going that route of ethnic bigotry or bigotry, you are ready to divide the country. And once you divide the country, then economic stability is totally running away from us. And that's why you can see what happened to the protest. You can see the protest. In the north, it was strong. In the southwest, it was not strong. Are we supposed to be having such a protest? We are supposed to have a what? Okay. A unified protest. Like what happened in Kenya. A unified protest whereby the president can come forward and speak to the figures and the demand of the people as a result of what? Unified protest. But when we're having a divided protest, you're even putting your president in the middle. Is he supposed to go with the protesters in the north or the protesters in the west?
Before we proceed, let's take a look at the tweet by Mr. Bayo Ononuga. That one, made in 2023, actually. The date is 18th of March, 2023. Let's take a look at that tweet. Can we have it expanded on the screen? Yes. So there you have it. Reading his statement from his verified handle, says, let 2023 be the last time of Igbo interference in Lagos politics. Let there be no repeat in 2027. Lagos is like Anambra, Imo, any Nigerian state. It is not no man's land, not federal capital territory. It is Yoruba land. Mind your business. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mr. I just wanted to put this out there.
Yes.
So we know exactly.
It's an ongoing conversation.
His words.
It relates to what we are discussing. Mr. Okwelu, I'm happy that you made a detour because you started out supporting what the Oba said. I must put it to you, but at the end of the day, you are able to aggregate your opinion to say that, look, we are one and there shouldn't be this kind of division. If you look at what the tweet that was just put out now by Ononuga and the fact that the president didn't rein him in, and that it took the governor 5 days, to respond to the tweet by Lagospedia and all of that. Should the Igbo man be fear for his life in Lagos?
There's no fear for an Igbo man in Lagos because for every street you go in Lagos, there are Igbo man who has built houses, who has built businesses in Lagos. Right. So where's the fear coming from?
That's that tweet by Lagospedia. And it hasn't been brought down from what I can see. Lagosians and every Southwest stakeholders should prepare for the massive protest of #Igbo must go on the 20th to the 30th of August. They have 1 month from now to leave and relocate their businesses from all Southwest states. All Southwest states. We urge all Yorubas living in the Southeast to return home.
Good. That
Lagos,
is very poignant.
Ibile.
Good. And
at Lagos, Ibile.
In the light of all this, 20th is around the corner, and we don't see either the president, the governor, or the governors of the Southwest come to say, please, enough is enough. It is in that light that I ask the question, should the Igbo man fear for his life in Lagos?
In Lagos, I've said it before and I'm saying it again, Lagos belongs to all of us. There's no fear for an Igbo man in Lagos. Now, for you saying that the governor should have reacted or the president should have reacted.
Sorry. So should the Igbo man in Ogun State fear for his life? Because if Lagos belongs to all of us, you also did say Ogun State is different.
Yoruba land.
It's a Yoruba land. So should the Igbo man in Ogun State fear for his life?
There are Igbo men in all the parts of the country, so there's no fear for any Igbo man. And why we even have the conversation about Igbo man? What's so special about Igbo man?
The way you say
What's so special about Igbo man?
Because
there are Hausas in Lagos, there are Hausas in Ogun State, there are Fulani in Ogun State. Why are we not saying that Fulani must go?
That was why I
What's so
asked you
special about
the
Igbo?
We have seen, we have thriving Yoruba communities in the southeast, thriving Yoruba communities in the south-south,
Absolutely.
thriving Yoruba communities in the north-central, northeast, northwest, and we've not heard anybody say Yoruba must leave.
So do you think this call now has anything to do with, hatred or fear for the Igbo men and how they settle?
Now, the first thing you must understand that there's no fear anywhere. And there is no hatred. What is happening is the value all of us we are running after. So when we talk about authoritative value, allocation of value, in the process of allocating this value, there will be conflicts. And those conflicts will be what? Will be sponsored by different gladiators and actors within the system. So that a particular gladiator is fueling a particular motion, a particular hashtag online. Should that be my own problem?
Since
because
2015.
as of today, I spent more than 2 years in the north. And different parts of the northern state that I stayed or that I visited, I saw Yoruba kings within those regions. And in fact, there was a particular area in Abuja. Any angle you turn to, you speak Yoruba. Why? Because the entire area, the entire community, the entire arena belongs to Yoruba man. So how come they are not shouting Yoruba man must go? So what's so special about Igbo man?
Because there have been targets of attack.
So now,
especially in the southwest,
now
in Lagos in particular.
Now the target is political target. It's not an economic target. Until it becomes an economic target, then I can have conversation.
So
now it's a political target.
We can't say it's not.
So for me, it's a political target. There's no economic target here. Now, when I'm saying there's no economic target, Igbo man, are they paying different tax in Lagos?
We can't say it's not economical.
So that's it.
We can't
in my office, I have Igbo men in my office. I will pay the same tax.
Excuse me, please.
In the state and in the federal. I run businesses. And I have people working with me. All right. So the way I pay tax, they also pay taxes.
But okay, that's
so if there's no different tax for an Igbo man in Lagos, so that means that call is not an economic call.
Okay,
so it's a political
when you
statement.
say it's
so
not
it shouldn't
economical.
be. What's so special about Igbo man?
Mr.
Why don't you have Fulani must go? Why don't you have Fulani must go?
Exactly.
Why don't you have Fulani must go? Why are we having Igbo must go? Igbo must go.
We should be the one asking you.
So where is the Igbo man going? Where are they? Okay, let's even start from here. Where is the Igbo man going? Why? The Igbo man that is going back to Anambra, more than 50% of Anambra has been taken over by Yoruba man. So where is he going back to?
All right, let me come to the question.
So in his own state, every Yoruba man in Lagos State, they are in their own state. Every Yoruba man in Ogun State, they are in their own state. They are in their land.
All right, so
all right.
Listen, let me
number one, the land belongs to the government. Are you aware of that? The land does not belong to anybody. It belongs to the government.
Yes.
So what does that? Until the government wakes up and say that I'm dividing this portion to an Igbo man or to a Yoruba man.
Before we run out of time, let me ask you. You said it's not economical. It's a political statement. But we know that Igbos doing business in Lagos have been targeted. We saw the demolition of the markets. Is it Aspanda area? I've forgotten the name of the market right off the... I can't remember it now, off the cuff now. It was demolished. We saw what happened some days back. It's not even up to a month now. Yes, I think that's Alaba market. Not even up to a month now. We saw certain individuals strolling around the markets in Lagos Island, sending a message with what now? A megaphone. Sending a message directed at Igbos. That's economical. That's affecting. That's a threat to their businesses, don't you think?
For me, as at now, it's still a political statement.
Okay, so
some time ago, about 2 years ago, there was a demolition, and somewhat there was supposed to be a relocation of my 12 market. Is that a target at Igbo man? The more than 50% of my 12 markets belongs to an average Hausa man. All right. So when that particular demolition was supposed to come or relocation was supposed to come because that place is becoming smaller. Even with myself, I don't need to become a governor before I know that my 12 is bigger than that particular space. They need a bigger space. But what happened? The governor made that motion. And what happened? Immediately, some of the leaders who are in Lagos, who are Hausa men, said, please, can you allow us to come in? Let's find a way to also assist in rebuilding this place and make it very bigger and make it very neat. And the governor said, why not? It is possible. And they had that partnership. Up to now, there's no call for Fulani or Hausa must go.
But
my
we have the same thing
that particular target,
the Alaba,
that particular target at
demolition.
Alaba is not Igbo target. I can say that confidently. Because the Igbo market, the Alaba market you are talking about, is it only Igbo man that owns Alaba market?
Majority of the traders.
At Ladipo market. Ladipo market does not belong to an Igbo man.
Computer village.
No, it's not about
Even Computer village does not belong to an Igbo man.
belonging. We are talking about the preponderance of traders there.
No, it doesn't matter.
One ethnic group.
Does it belong
matters.
to Yoruba man? Does it belong to an Igbo man?
So now
who is the Yaloja? Is the Yaloja of Alaba market? Is he an Igbo man? So why are we deceiving ourselves? These are political statements that must be disregarded
So,
immediately.
where does this political statement now leave Nigerians? Because we can actually see that those people that made those political statements, in your words, have not been called to, they've not been called to order. Talking about political statement now, where you refuse people from exercising their franchise, we're talking about people not being able to cast their vote to represent their own interest in the 2023 election. That is also what is still called political statement. Again, where does this really leave the people?
We must also be careful about speaking. We must also be careful about some of this conversation, which is very important, especially for
There's
the media
something called
men.
inciting the public.
That's what I'm going.
Law.
Well, legally speaking, we must be very, very careful. For those who are saying some of these statements, and even the media, that also the media that are also propagating on their behalf.
Do you know
all
that,
of us must understand the legal implication of all of these statements.
Elon Musk was going to offer Donald Trump an interview on X Space, and EU came out and issued a warning to him because they say if he gives Donald Trump that space, Donald Trump might incite the public. And whatever happens from that incitement, the regulations that control social media activities in EU states might affect Elon Musk's business, which is Twitter or X, as you want to call it. That's a way to regulate such insightful.
But we are not there yet in Nigeria.
What do you mean?
We are not there yet in terms of social media regulation. We are not there yet.
So because we are not there,
so we shouldn't jump.
Should we allow
shouldn't jump because of somebody is?
No,
we shouldn't jump because it's affecting Igbo man. We shouldn't jump because it's affecting Hausa man.
The name gives
it's an Igbo discussion. So we shouldn't jump.
In this particular case now, so we should wait until we get to that level before we start cautioning hate speech.
Now, the media should caution whoever is coming online to say anything against any part.
The media should caution.
The media should caution. Now, if you are waiting for the government or the presidency to arrest
the Ministry
anyone,
of Communication.
For me, I will not support such arrest because it has not been duly legally and constitutionally regulated yet.
So
even if you arrest me or you arrest Lagos Media, are you aware that you'll be shocked that by the time they arrest Lagos Media today, it will be an Igbo man that will be his lawyer, that will be defending him in the court against the government. So that's why I said these are political statements that we should not. These are political statements that should not be entertained, that should not be overbloated by the media themselves.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Why we are actually bringing it out this time is for you to actually understand that this has started for a long time. Since 2015, we waited for it to come. Nobody actually said anything about it being reduced or suppressed. 2019, it repeated again. 2023, it also happened. To the point that this is 2024, where we have a date attached to hashtag Igbo must go to be from 20th of August to 30th of August. And this is a call for the whole southwestern states. That was the reason we decided now to bring it to the table of discussion, because it's more like some people are now the sacred cows. They will go on with the hate speech and the ethnic bigotry and nothing happens. Rather, they will bag, political appointments.
The young man has not been arrested. And the young man cannot be arrested for now because it's not be fully regulated. That's number one. Before now, Mr. Governor Babajide Lushola Sanwo-Olu has responded that they are not part of such hashtag. So the Igbo men in Lagos should disregard such an unguarded statement. So Mr. Governor has done the needful. So I'm not sure, especially for we sitting in Lagos. Assuming I'm in Abuja now, I will have continued with this conversation. But since I'm in Lagos, as of today, this conversation should be discontinued. Because even the governor himself has come out to say that this is not acceptable. That every citizen is accepted in Lagos, and he has disassociated himself and his cabinet from such an unguarded social media statement.
All right, it's a good thing that the government of Lagos have dissociated themselves. But then my last question is, if something happens between the 20th and the 30th of August, and Igbos are attacked in communities where you have more Yoruba people living in, if your neighbor who is an Igbo man is attacked, will you rise to his defense?
In my neighborhood, I have a lot of Igbo men and Igbo women. Nobody will attack them August 20.
If that happens.
If in my own compound where I live, nobody can come in.
Will you
no
rise
Yoruba
to
man.
their defense?
That's what I'm saying. No Yoruba man or Hausa man.
It's a direct.
The question is. That's what I'm answering it. No, the question is direct.
Will you rise to the defense?
I will secure whoever is living within my compound. Both Hausa man, Igbo man, or Fulani man.
Well, if you
because when I was in the north, there was different crises, and Hausa men secured my safety.
Okay.
So I have the obligation to secure anyone that is living within my space now to give because I have such a responsibility.
Let's take a minute to give us your concluding thoughts on this one before we go to the next topic.
We need to regulate the social media space. That's number one. Number two, individuals must understand that the social media space is becoming more powerful than we think. So we should be careful, legally speaking, of what we are putting out into the social media. And if you are driving traffic because of your business, because some of these guys also, they are making money from all, we are arguing in the studio, but these guys are making money from all of the traffic. So please be careful of the kind of money you are making, because by the time the government starts regulating that space, all of your past presentation on media will be pulled out and will be used against you. And at that moment, even the media cannot save you.
Thank you very much.
Let's be careful.
Thank you very much, Mr. Okpeoluwa Taiwo, Executive Director, African Bridge Initiative.
Absolutely.
Emphasis on the bridge.
Of the bridge.
All right then. Well, coming up next is national crisis. President Tinubu convenes Emergency Council of State meeting. Let's talk about that one when we come back.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. Showing from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people.
Well, in response to Nigeria's escalating economic hardship and fuel subsidy protests, President Bola Tinubu summoned an emergency council of state meeting. The gathering brought together former presidents, chief justices, legislative leaders, state governors, and top officials to address the nation's pressing issues. Well, notably absent is aware former President Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo, and Ibrahim Babangida were absent from that meeting. Meanwhile, former President Muhammadu Buhari and Goodluck Jonathan were in attendance with Yakubu Gowon and Abdulsalami Abubakar participating virtually. Well, the council, which advises the president on major policy decisions, aims to find solutions to the nation's challenges. Now, will this meeting bring relief to Nigerians, or will it be just another, talk shop? Well, at the end of the meeting, they did give a vote of confidence to the Tinubu administration. And from the headlines from the dailies, it was reiterated that the hashtag #EndBadGovernance protest had a political undertone to unseat this administration. Well, some Nigerians have said, look, why would you consider this a political move when in actual fact Nigerians are hungry? But of course, like I said at the beginning of the program, they seem to know something that we don't know. So if this is a political move, well, we do hope that whatever it is will be nipped in the bud. But in the meantime, the House of Representatives have introduced a counter-subversion bill 2024, which proposes a 10-year prison sentence and a fine of 5 million naira for Nigerians who refuse to recite the national anthem. The bill also includes penalties for destroying national symbols, inciting violence, and pledging loyalty to organizations that undermine Nigeria's sovereignty. The goal of the bill is to enforce national obligations and prevent acts of disloyalty. Let's also tell you that salaries of judicial office holders has been signed into law, 300% increase to judicial office holders. All of this happening at the same time. One wonders, what exactly is going on? Is this not gagging Nigerians? Well, first off, Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. The first part of the anthem. Are you a proud Nigerian? Would you say, with what is going on in the country at this time, are you proud to serve Nigeria? Seeing what our politicians are doing, the kind of monies they are, spending within them, and the poverty that is eating deep into the fabric of the Nigerian society. Does this make you feel proud to be a Nigerian at this time?
All right, so as a good Nigerian and a good citizen of Nigeria, there's something we usually say from the western part of the country, that whenever there's too much of headache or migraine on a particular human being, it does not necessarily mean that you have to do what? You have to cut off such head. So what does that mean? I'm a good citizen of Nigeria. I love Nigeria passionately. And I believe where we are is not where we are supposed to be. Our leaders have been untruthful to the citizen. That is well acceptable. But we must also understand that because few leaders are not trustworthy, we all must not toe that line. Because if we have 10 people in figure and 2 are polluted politically, the remaining 8 must not be polluted. So that the 2 are leaders does not mean I must not follow my leader. If my leader is going inside the canal, will I follow my leader because he's my leader? The answer is no. So all of us must not be bad. Like I usually say, in the business space where I belong, I'll tell people that because I have a neighbor who has duped another man does not make me to dupe another man in business. I must be ready to set the record straight in every business activities I engage myself in, irrespective of whatever the governor or the president is doing. If the governor is scamming you in your state, does not make every citizen of that state to be a scammer. You must rise up. I must rise up. And the change must begin with me. That is my stand.
Okay, Mr. Boluwa, looking at what the national or members of the House of Assembly just ruled out in the subversive bill that says that if you cannot recite the national anthem, fine of 5 million or prison sentence of 10 years. Also, that also restricts people who want to call for protest. Don't you actually think that these are a threat to the Nigerian democracy that we're having already, given the fact that we have right to peaceful protest as citizens?
All right, so for this particular bill that has just been passed, actually, I've not taken my time to study it. But with what I've seen so far, one thing you must understand, number one, this bill is not here to stop anyone from protesting, including myself. From peaceful protests, this bill is not going to stop anyone from protesting. Please, we must put that record very straight. This bill will not stop me.
Sorry to interrupt.
Even me myself, this bill will not stop me from protesting.
Your train of thoughts there. I want to go personal a bit. I know you are an activist. You were an activist back in school. You were part of the SUG in your school. You have a political. You're politically inclined. Did you come out during the protest, the hashtag End Bad Governance protest? Did you come out?
I did not come out because it was faceless and there was no direction. There's nothing called end bad governance. You can't end any bad governance or bad government until every 4 years. You can end hunger. Assuming the target, hashtag end hunger, I'll be number one.
But that was also part of the hashtag, actually.
It was part of it, but that's not the major target.
Okay.
The major target was misleading. So you can even see, if for somebody like Barrister Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, somebody I look up to vividly, is disassociating himself from such a protest that can lead to treasonable offense. Why should I? So because we must understand that protest politics does not follow emotion. It does not follow emotion. We are all hungry. That is understandable. But when you're putting ember governance with hunger, they're not the same thing. Let's end hunger.
Mr. Boluwa, let's get something right. I'm very happy that you say that you don't support end bad governance. And hunger is a product of bad governance. Inflation is a product of bad governance. And you just said that the bad governance should continue until 2027. And in one hand, you are saying that Nigerians have a right to protest.
If you are saying bad governance, when you're saying bad government, what are the yardstick?
No, not bad government, bad governance.
Governance. When you say bad governance, what are the yardstick? What are the equation you are using? And what are the
inflation
percentage?
is high. There's poverty in the land. There's no food. There's insecurity. Schools are not functional, and all of that. The roads are not working. There are no good roads.
When you say that,
so we shouldn't ask our government to improve upon these areas, and we just wait until 2027 for an election cycle to come for us to talk with our votes.
A country where we have more than 65% youth, during the election, you are playing football on the pitch.
No, some Nigerians went out to cast their votes,
of those youths,
and then they were being disenfranchised by an individual who threatened their life. We also saw where some people were even being beaten. Some had to go cast their vote with bandage. Now we are actually bringing it back again to how some individuals have disenfranchised Nigerians who are capable to cast their vote during election, as we know that this population, or the Nigerian population, is being, high on the youth side.
With what, as a young man, with what I witnessed in that election, especially in the West, I have not seen a vivid or clear disenfranchisement in that last election. Now, listen carefully. I was part and parcel of that election, in and out of that election. And I discovered more than 70% of the youth being politically what? Laid back. And I also saw that the few that were coming to vote were coming to vote with emotions. Emotion does not run the system. We must understand that. And that is one thing I keep saying. Are you aware that
corrupt practices during election? So when you say Nigerian youth didn't come out to vote in 2023, I will actually stand to disagree, though, because I will also tell you that I participate fully in that 2023 election, and the turnout of Nigerian youths for that election was massive.
Now, when you say that the turnout was massive, I'm happy to hear that statement from you as a media person, because some of us, I particularly, I was part of the people that increased that figure, because I was so passionate that you must come out to vote for your candidates. Not even during the time of voting, but especially that they must get their PVC. I was monitoring the process. Now, one thing you must understand that when you say that the figure increases in a positive way, that is good. But for us that monitor the process, I understand the number of people that I ensure got their PVC. That number cannot be commensurate with the people that actually voted. That's what I'm saying.
That is where we'll bring it back again to the issue of bad governance, where we have the Independent National Electoral Commission transmit our votes. I'm talking about the one that happened.
The challenge of election is the challenge of an average Nigerian. The European Union came up through their independent observers that a lot of malactivities took place during the election. And the first statement I said to my team was that this particular result from the EU is the result of who we are as a people. So nobody is exonerated. None of us is exonerated, including the media personality. No one is exonerated from whatever report that was gotten from that last election. The last election challenge is a challenge of technology, is a challenge of fintech, is a challenge of character, is a challenge of behavioral pattern. It's not only the challenge of INEC. And I've said it before and I'm saying it again, that if there is challenge with INEC, that means there is challenge with all of us. So because there's a budget for all of this process, and there are a lot of IT issues that came up. And in that process, it is also talks about in terms of engaging the citizen, that I have social challenge at social point, I could not transmit at this time, but I have eventually transmitted. Another thing must also understand that every result of the election was signed by all the agents, including the security officers, because I participated in the running of that election. So I can tell you what happened in the process. So when you have what we call the electoral results, it is that particular result that will be uploaded. And if it was not uploaded at the point, it will be uploaded at the collation center. But in between that process, I'm saying it at this point, nobody can alter that paper. Because every agent, all political party agents signed that electoral result. So are you not saying that when 15 political parties sign a particular paper, are they the same people that alter the figure? That is what we should ask ourselves. All of us, we are in this game together. Our behavioral pattern must change. We must own up to our responsibility.
Thank you, Mr.
Integrity is going down the lane. None of us is talking about it. We are only attributing the challenge to INEC. INEC is not our problem in Nigeria.
Thank you. Let's. It's interesting the way we have gone, but let's bring back this conversation to the current issue. You know, the current national crisis. You know, about the end protest and about the end governance and all of that. Yesterday, the president convened and held a meeting of National Council of States. Some of the past presidents attended, some virtually. Obasanjo stayed away, you know, and Buhari, that normally didn't attend Council of States meetings during the Jonathan era, attended. But that's by the way. The point is this: after the Council of States meeting, Governor of Kwara State, Abdul Rahman, came out to say that the Council of States passed a vote of confidence on the president. And Nigerians, I want to ask you, Mr. Oboeluwa, is there a disconnect between our leaders and Nigerians? Because apparently, the Council of States, the leaders are saying the government is doing very well. And Nigerians are saying, no, the government is not doing very well. Where does that leave us with our leaders?
When you have the Council of State talking about the ministers, talking about the
No,
governors,
ministers are not there. Former state leaders, heads of state, former leaders of government.
Yeah.
when we talk about Council of State, why don't you allow me to land? When we talk about Council of State, ministers were there. More than 5 ministers were there. I know what I'm saying.
Current ministers?
The governors were there. Minister of Dele Alake was there. Economy was there. I know what I'm saying.
Okay.
So you should understand that when there's some figures or some statements some of us make, I don't work with emotions and I don't work with sentiment. When I tell you this is what is obtainable in the political space, take it or leave it. You know, sometimes when we speak and we see some emotions from online reactions, it doesn't bother me because I will tell you what is obtainable. You know, there's something we call normative value. What ought to be. Yeah. But we are talking about the reality. The reality is that the government of Nigeria has been sustainable in terms of democracy, has been sustainable in terms of economy. But the policy of each administration has been inconsistent.
Mr. Boluwaya, that is not my question. My question is, Nigerians are hungry. Nigerians are poor. We have over 135 million poor Nigerians, multidimensionally poor. There is hunger in the land. The inflation moved from 22.18 to 34.14 in 9 months. And Nigerians poured into the streets to say, look, we need a change of government. Fuel that used to cost 220 naira is now 800 naira. Nigerians went into the streets to protest because there is hunger. They made demands on the government, and the government didn't even attend to one of these demands. Now, the same government calls a Council of State meeting, comprising of former leaders, the ministers, and all of that, few ministers, and all of that. And the people say, the National Council of State comes out to say, President, you are doing well. Government, you are doing well. I want you to be very, very specific. Is there a disconnect between what the leaders see and what we see?
1 year plus. There's no way I can sit here and just give him a particular percentage.
But the people that gave him, he has been there for 1 year plus. So now that's why I'm still bringing.
That's what I'm saying, that they might have information that I don't have. So why should I support or negate what they're saying?
No, with the things we're having in Nigeria, with the things happening in Nigeria, the inflation now, food inflation now is at 40.19%. We have MPR rate in Nigeria now to be at 26.75%. And also, Nigerians, like my colleague rightly said, are having multidimensional poverty. And not just that, also, the present administration ruled out some policies in Nigeria, okay, which we believe will have an effect, though a long-term one. Now, I'm asking you, Mr. Olo, as a Nigerian, as an average Nigerian, judging with the little time we've actually spent, does the present administration or the present president deserve to have a vote of confidence? Yes or no, please, sir?
For me, I will not sit to give you yes or no, because I am not part of the decision makers. And I don't know the yardstick they are using. The only thing I can say that when we talk about multidimensional poverty, as any one of us actually sit or sat to break down the meaning of that word multidimensional poverty, are you aware that there are economic saboteur or sabotage?
Does that also bring back to the fact that a tuber of yam now in the market is 7,000?
I'm going there.
A cup of gari in the market now. No, wait, let's bring it to this table. I am a woman. I go to the market, I buy things, I shop. Crate of eggs stands at 7,000 in some areas. In some quotas, it stands at 6,500. Cup of rice, it's very expensive. There was a time of buying just 4 seedlings of tomatoes for 2,000 naira in Nigeria now. And all these things actually, when being looked at, also brought back to the fact that we're having insecurity issues in Nigeria. Nigerians no longer go to farm. As if to say that's not enough. We're having so many abnormalities happening in the sector. Dele Alake told us that $9 billion is what Nigeria lose every year on illegal miners. And now we'll bring it back again to what you asked about multidimensional poverty. Are all those things now the high of the food stuffs in the market, the high cost of food stuff in the market now, are they not really enough for us to say we're having multidimensional poverty in Nigeria?
Yeah, we have multidimensional poverty. Correct. Accepted. No controversy about that. But I've also asked that critical question. Has anyone of us took time to break down the meaning of that multidimensional?
Yes. Mr.
Now, when you say multidimensional, you are saying that there are layers. And part of the layers are self-inflicting layers.
No,
are
they
you
not.
aware?
Mr.
Hold
Oluwa,
on.
they
Are you aware that
Let me tell you what.
No, are you aware that I have also been to the market?
Multidimensional poverty is.
Are you aware that
multidimensional poverty is measured against 4 indicators? One of them is education. One of them is security. The other one is health and standard of living.
Yeah.
4 of them. So in which of these indicators are Nigerians doing very well? Is it in insecurity? Is it in education? Why just released their results? More than how many percent of the students couldn't pass English and mathematics?
Is that the problem of government?
No.
No, is that the problem of government?
Whose problem is it?
As a parent, that is your problem, not the problem of government.
No.
As a parent, that's your problem, not the problem of government. So we must say the truth.
So, okay,
that's not the problem of government.
What of insecurity?
That's the problem of government.
Education policies?
It's the education policy that make you to fail maths and English.
Though the students
When I wrote exams in the university,
Nigerians that fail these exams, when they go to other countries, they excel.
No, those are sentiments. I will not sit down and listen to that.
Sentiment.
Are you aware that in the same university, in the same secondary school, I also wrote exam. I failed. I rewrite the exam and I passed the same exam. Is it the government that made me to fail the exam? And is it the government that made me to pass the exam? So why are we putting our
government policies
burden on the government?
Results. Government policies on education impact the results that we have. Let's leave education. How about health? Because let's talk generally about multidimensional poverty. In the light of what NCS have different data than we have that will enable them give the president a vote of confidence.
Now, are you aware that I myself, there's some conversation that we have here, or that I have in different fora. I took my time to even enter the market to see what is happening in the market. Just within a particular space of 3 minute drive, I bought a particular commodity for 5,000. Less than 2 minute drive, that same commodity in another place, 3,500. Is that the problem of government, my brother? Let's be sincere.
So you're saying it's the people now?
The people are part of the problem. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying it clearly. So that whoever wants to stand against me on the social media can come up to argue with me. I can also tell you critically that I've said it before, that we have a lot of yams in the north. Are you aware that there's some gladiators that are diverting our food commodity into neighboring countries? Are they government?
And that is the problem of individuals.
No, are they government?
No, that is the problem.
No, the question is, are they government?
So why can't government stop that?
I'm coming to that. Are you also aware that in this same country, the government will release some commodity to the people? And the people, are you aware that this particular rice that we had the conversation, Moses, can you remember the rice discussion we had, talking about 40,000 naira?
Yes.
Are you aware that at a particular time, the federal government stopped that process?
They did.
Because I was part of people that said that it was an audio promise. Are you aware?
Yes.
I didn't support the government on that particular promise. So that people will not think that some of us just come to studio to support the government.
40,000 rice to see.
I told you specifically that it was not realistic. I'm sure you can remember.
Yes.
Now, are you aware that the government actually stopped that process?
I'm aware.
Do you know why they stopped the process? Are you aware the why?
Why?
The reason why they stopped the process is that people like you bought the product for 40,000 naira and they went out to sell it at 80,000. Is that the problem of government?
Can I interrupt you?
My people, let's be clear
I wouldn't want
about
us to have
our
a
body.
rowdy session. Now, let me interrupt you. Government said this on August 1st, that they were going to give rice to be sold to civil servants for 40,000 naira. On August 2nd, they brought out a memo. The memo that was brought out on the 6th of August, or the 7th of August, was dated August 2nd. So, how then will people have purchased this rice between August 1st and August and the 2nd of August to now resell?
Now, I love what you said. You said, look at what you said now. You have answered my question already.
No, I haven't.
You said a memo came out on the 6th and it was dated on the 2nd. Are you following that? The memo did not come out on 2nd. It's not possible. I followed that process. It was dated 2nd does not mean that it was released on the 2nd. Which it's not the same. Now, when in law, I'm not a lawyer, but in law, when you are written letter in the courts, it will be stated that this particular memo or this particular statement was released on the 7th, but it was dated on the 2nd. It does not necessarily mean that it was released on that 2nd.
Mr. Boluwa,
do you have to that? I was here on when?
Mr. are you representing the facts? Let me tell you.
Are you aware of the figure on the 2nd? Hold on. Are you aware of that memo on the 2nd?
Mr.
Hold
Wong,
on, answer the question.
Dated second.
You have not answered my question. Are you aware
I was aware of it when I saw it.
But I love that. When you saw it, it was when you saw it. It was when you saw it that I also saw it, and it was not second.
It was
I'm not
dated
here.
we have the memo.
No,
We have
accept
the
it.
opposite
I'm
one.
not defending the government.
have the
But
memo.
it was
You
dated
have-
second. But I can tell you that it was not released on that second. And what does that mean? It was stated clearly. Some people like you bought the rice at 40 naira and went out there to sell it at 80 naira. So the government actually stopped the process because they saw that there was a saboteur in the process.
Did you see people that?
So you're not defending what you don't know. That's what
I'm
Moses.
defending what I know.
Did you see people that rebelled?
One thing you must understand that, are you aware that a lot of citizens went on social media in the north to a particular warehouse? Because my brother just asked me a
To
question.
rebag it.
To rebag it. And you are saying that it was not rebag.
How did they get the rice if it was not being given? How did they get it?
Because
if it was
they saw
not
that it was done. They saw that the government has released it, and it was a particular warehouse where some people ordered it.
All right,
So they saw that the process of ordering, they were about to rebag it. So the people went there to break it. So the ordering process. Are you saying the ordering process was government problem?
Well, like my colleague,
You and I, we have challenge to deal
like
with.
my colleague rightly stated,
As a behavioral pattern,
you don't
as a
seem to
people.
be representing the facts right here. Because if you're
must
saying
also face our challenge. What is our behavioral pattern as a people?
On the 7th,
so we cannot just put our
dated the
burden.
2nd.
When you're having a character deficiency and you're putting the blame on the government, is it the government that will correct your behavioral deficiency?
Okay.
No,
Well, this is how far
unfortunately,
we
the
can
government
go.
itself has
This is how far we can
Accepted.
go.
and that is
Accepted.
yes, and that is the
Accepted.
issue here.
I support you on
The
that.
individuals have roles to play too.
I support you on that.
Exactly.
Government
Well, we
also
must
has
say a
deficiency.
very big
Yes.
thank you
I
to
support
And I'm
Mr.
happy that you
Taiwo
admit that governments do,
Opeoluwa.
that this particular government has deficiency.
Government do have
This
deficiency.
particular government
We
has.
must say a very big
Government
thank you
do
to you,
have
Mr. Opeoluwa, for
deficiency.
coming on the program. Thank you very much. Taiwo Opeoluwa is Director, African Bridge Initiative. Well, thank you once again for your time.
God bless Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Always, always. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the program.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents,
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. Showing from 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Seyi Makinde's ambitious vision to transform the airport into a key aviation hub in the region. Now, this proposed project is part of a broader effort by various state governments in Nigeria to enhance their aviation sectors. For instance, we have the Cross River State government. They have announced plans to expand the state-owned airline Cali Air, while the Abia state government is working on developing a new airport in partnership with the federal government. While similarly, the Ebonyi state government is looking to acquire commercial airplanes to boost operations in the Chuba or Kadigbo International Airport. Well, that's a business story for you at this hour. Join us again at 10 o'clock for more on the Business Hour show. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's going to be Chisom Ayinaya taking us into the world of entertainment.
Thank you for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. We have Chisom Ayinaya in the studio for the entertainment update. Good morning, Chisom.
Good morning, Fina. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's get right into entertainment. Now, the internet was thrilled to a massive surprise by Don Jazzy and D'banj as they reunited to create music together after 12 years apart. The Coco Master released a teaser of his new album, The Entertainer, the sequel, set to be released on the 16th of August 2024. D'banj and Don Jazzy had a highly successful partnership under the Mo Hit record label. However, in March 2012, the duo announced their separation, citing differences in interest. Following their separation, Don Jazzy went on to establish Maven Records, which has become one of Nigeria's leading music labels, while D'banj pursued a solo career and founded DB Records. Despite their split, both the artists have expressed mutual respect and appreciation for each other's contribution to their career. Well, we have a comment from Son of Zion. Son of Zion wrote, "Real friends never give up. They may leave for a while, but they find ways to reconcile the differences." While another comment from Heltatina said, "D'banj is a true entertainer. His last show at the African Shrine was epic entertainment, rendered his old songs like brand new. The performance was electrifying." I mean, I would lay emphasis to the real friends always come back together.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you have to say, Mr. Mo?
Oh, yes, of course. Real friends stick together. It's you know, that's how it is. True friends never give up on each other.
Yeah, true. All right, that's all we have on entertainment this morning.
All right, and I must say a very big thank you to you, Chisom, for that entertainment story. And we wish D'banj and Don Jazzy the very best as they go on to do great things. They are coming together when brothers, P Square, are going their separate ways. Interesting times indeed. Well, that's about it on the show. We must say thank you very much for joining us on the show. We'd like you to subscribe to the page on YouTube. It's Voice of the People TV up on YouTube. And on other social media platforms, it is at VOP TV Live. For my colleagues, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful day. Bye for now.